different score sheet to use, and this is for exams only, so it's slightly different. Okay, you still of course have the sanity check on the bottom. You're still expected to check off the boxes. Feedback. Okay, feedback takes place in different forms. Okay, feedback can of course go in each of the categories, but specifically under overall impressions. Feedback is commenting on appropriateness to the style, suggestion for improvement, or even compliments. So let's see. Suggestions. Okay, adherence to style. Is this what you're expecting for the style? Is it not what you're expecting to the style? You can see that expect a little bit more aroma for a Doppelbock. I would expect it to be a little richer. Appearance should be clearer for a German Pilsner. All those things are commenting on adherence to style. Not necessarily compliments in this way, but compliment would be like what I listed earlier too. Beautiful appearance as I would expect for a commercially made German Pilsner. And yeah, that's a little bit wordy too. That helps to fill out lines as needed. Okay. Feedback can be included in the sections. A classic Doppelbock aroma. Recipe recommendations might be the most difficult for the non-brewer. Consider that almost anybody can say more or less of something, okay? You might be sticking out your neck a little bit, but it's better than not saying anything at all. Likewise, it's always good to give a reason for it too, okay? More or less qualifies as a suggestion for improvement as requested in the overall impression section. The most lacking thing of score sheets, people not giving a suggestion. And no, you do not want to be assuming either, okay? When you're being more specific, like saying more hops at 60 minutes to increase the bitterness, that's being specific. You would expect the American Pale Ale to be a little more bitter, therefore more hops at 60 minutes. Compliments can be pretty easy to do, okay? We covered some of these in the score sheet extras. If it's a great beer, by all means say so. If that aroma or appearance are that impressive, by all means say so. Brewers all like to hear that. Okay, mouthfeel, pleasantly full mouthfeel, overall impression. I could drink this all day. Some of these are covered in two of the handouts that I have for you. The feedback worksheets will provide some suggestions for improvement and some things that you can always tell the brewer. We don't want to see just 2 words in that overall impression section of good beer. You make sure that everybody gets one of those and one of those. The feedback worksheets are going to provide some easy phrases for specific suggestions. While it's the most lacking thing, it might also be because it might be the most difficult. But this is the reason why we fill out the score sheets and our judges. So the first part 1 of that, deals with appearance and mouthfeel issues and gives some overall impression comments that we use in many circumstances. Part 2 deals with aroma and flavor. These are addressed in troubleshooting articles and documents, so really this is just a different format. On part 2, if you have a diacetyl issue, there are comments in point number 1. Those are on the right side of the sheet, as well as in point 3, which deals with contamination issues. It's very important to keep in mind that flaws can have more than one source. Notice also that it does say give suggestions for improvement. If you want to read into that, then suggestions is plural. Yeah, give more than one if you can. But consider also that the better the beer is, the less you're really going to be able to say. But the worse the beer is, the more you should be able to say. Okay? Worksheets are meant to help you avoid such generalizations like watch sanitation or watch over sparging. A lot of brewers might not know how this is done. They might not even know what over sparging means. Over sparging, of course, leads to astringency. You want to give some specific suggestions for how to avoid that without assuming. Okay? The pluses and minuses there on the side are to indicate positive and negative attributes. Some have both because they are style dependent. I put a negative in front if it's more likely to be a flaw. Diacetyl might be considered more to be a negative point, as it's never really positive, but it is acceptable in low levels for some styles, specifically some ales. There's only one lager where it's acceptable, and that's Bohemian Pilsner. Even then, you wouldn't want to dominate it, and you wouldn't want it to be an artificial butter characteristic. That's something that you can read on your own time and discuss with me later too. And really, that really is just a summary of what's already out there, but neatly in 2 pages that gives you some things to say about a beer for improvement.